How to Fix Fivem Startup Error. Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today, our technical team is taking a deep dive into one of the most persistent issues affecting Grand Theft Auto V roleplay servers: the Fivem startup crash and game ownership validation error. During our investigation into sudden launch failures, we isolated the underlying authentication triggers, causing the platform to reject valid game licenses. We tested every potential fix in our lab and confirmed 20 distinct, comprehensive methods to get your client running smoothly again. Let us walk you through our complete diagnostic and repair protocol. Solution 1. Switch the client update channel to Canary. Our testing showed that the most effective permanent fix for this startup crash is manually altering your configuration file to use the Canary experimental build. Navigate to your Fivem installation directory, open the Fivem application data folder, and launch CitizenFX. Ini using Notepad. At the very bottom of the text file, add a new line reading update channel equals Canary, save your changes, and relaunch the client to force a patch update. Solution 2. Resynchronize Rockstar Games launcher authentication. Teknobalta's analysis revealed that broken session tokens between your platform launcher and Rockstar Social Club frequently trigger ownership validation failures. Open the Rockstar Games launcher, sign out of your account completely, and close the application from your system tray. Launch the legacy version of Grand Theft Auto V directly through Epic Games or Steam so that the launcher automatically authenticates and refreshes your credentials. Solution 3. Perform a deep uninstallation using Revo Uninstaller. When standard reinstallation fails, leftover cache files and corrupted registry keys will continue to block the startup sequence. We recommend using Revo Uninstaller to completely purge the Fivem application, along with all residual data folders. Once the advanced scan removes every remaining registry trace, download a fresh installer from the official website and perform a clean installation. Solution 4. Disable administrator privileges for the client. During our diagnostics, we noticed that running the modification as an administrator often prevents it from inheriting the authentication token of your standard user session. Right-click your Fivem shortcut, select Properties, and navigate to the Compatibility tab. Ensure the option to run this program as an administrator is unchecked so that ownership can be validated by the base game launcher. Solution 5. Audit active VPN connections and routing software. Our network testing confirmed that virtual private networks can interfere with the client's handshake request to the validation servers. If you are using any active VPN client or tunneling software, disable it completely before attempting to launch the game. Restoring a direct, unrouted connection ensures that your IP address matches your regional authentication token. Solution 6. Flush and reconfigure custom DNS settings. Custom domain name system servers that experience high latency or routing drops will occasionally fail to resolve the platform's authentication endpoints. Open your Windows network properties and set your adapter to obtain DNS server addresses automatically, or switch to a stable public DNS like Google DNS. Open a command prompt window and execute ipconfig/flushdns to clear out any stale routing cache. Solution 7. Clear the client cache files manually. Corrupted local download caches are a primary suspect when the application freezes immediately upon initialization. Navigate to your Fivem application data folder and open the data subfolder. Delete the cache, and server cache priv folders while preserving your game storage folder to force a clean download of essential server assets. Solution 8. Verify Grand Theft Auto V game files. An update to the base game can break compatibility with third-party multiplayer hooks if core executable files become modified or missing. Open your Steam, Epic Games, or Rockstar Games launcher library, right-click Grand Theft Auto V, and select Verify Integrity of Game Files. Allow the verification process to replace any damaged archives before launching the modification. Solution 9. Delete temporary digital entitlement files. Faulty digital entitlement cache files stored on your operating system can block Rockstar from confirming your game license. Open File Explorer and navigate to /program data /Rockstar games /Epic, or the corresponding Steam folder depending on your platform. Delete any entitlement files found inside so the launcher can generate a fresh, validated token upon your next login. Solution 10. Whitelist executables in Windows Defender. Aggressive real-time antivirus protection often mistakes custom multiplayer injectors for malicious memory modification software. Open Windows Security, go to Virus and Threat Protection settings, and add your entire Fivem installation folder to the exclusions list. This prevents background scanning engines from quarantining critical dynamic link libraries during the launch phase. Solution 11. Update GPU display drivers to the latest release. Outdated or corrupted graphics drivers frequently cause silent crashes before the user interface has a chance to render. Download the latest WHQL-certified driver package from NVIDIA, AMD, or Intel, depending on your hardware configuration. We strongly advise performing a clean driver installation to strip away old profiles that might conflict with the game's graphics pipeline. Solution 12. Disable background overlay applications. Third-party software overlays inject code directly into the rendering window, which can destabilize the custom multiplayer wrapper. Temporarily disable overlays from Discord, GeForce Experience, Steam, and Revo Tuner Statistics Server. Launching the game without these background hooks eliminates resource contention and prevents application crash loops. Solution 13. Force the client to use your dedicated GPU. Laptops and multi-GPU systems sometimes default to integrated graphics when launching the client, resulting in immediate initialization crashes. Open Windows Graphics Settings, add Fivem exe to the Custom Applications list, and set its graphics preference explicitly to high performance. This guarantees that the software utilizes your primary discrete graphics card for rendering. Solution 14. Adjust virtual memory page file allocation. Running out of physical and virtual memory during initial asset loading will cause Windows to terminate the process unexpectedly. Open your system properties, navigate to Performance Options, and increase your virtual memory page file size on your fastest solid-state drive. Setting a generous custom, initial and maximum size prevents system-level memory allocation failures. Solution 15. Reinstall the Microsoft Visual C++ redistributable packages. The application relies heavily on modern runtime libraries to execute structured C++ commands correctly. Download and install the latest Microsoft Visual C++ redistributable package for both x86 and x64 architectures from the official Microsoft website. Restart your computer after installation to ensure all system-level dynamic libraries are properly registered. Solution 16. Repair the local Windows Management Instrumentation service. Our diagnostic work revealed that a broken Windows Management Instrumentation service can prevent the launcher from querying your hardware profile. Open an elevated command prompt and run winmount/salvage repository to check and repair the system database. Once the repository is restored, reboot your system so the client can correctly detect your system architecture. Solution 17. Relocate the installation directory to a root drive path. Installing the application inside deeply nested folders or directories with special characters can cause path length reading errors. Move your installation out of the Windows user folder and place it directly into a clean root path such as C/5M. Simplifying the directory structure prevents file access timeouts when loading large data archives. Solution 18. Disable full-screen optimizations in Windows 10 and 11 apply full-screen optimizations that can clash with custom graphics wrappers used by multiplayer clients. Right-click your Fivem exe shortcut, open Properties, select the Compatibility tab, and check the box to disable full-screen optimizations. This forces the operating system to hand over direct display control to the game engine. Solution 19. Perform a clean Windows boot state. Background software conflicts from RGB controllers, hardware monitors, and third-party services often cause silent startup crashes. Open the System Configuration utility by typing msconfig, hide all Microsoft services, and disable any remaining third-party startup items. Restart your system into a clean boot state to isolate and eliminate software interference. Solution 20. Reset network adapter TCP/IP stack and Winsock. Persistent network socket errors can permanently block the client from establishing a secure connection to the master server list. Open an elevated command prompt and execute netch winsock reset, followed immediately by netch int IP reset. Reboot your computer to rebuild your network stack from scratch and restore clean communication channels. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.